Hey everybody, here doing the question of the week. So, question this week is, can you describe the house that you grew up in? And sure. Yeah, this one's pretty easy. I'm gonna start off. I think I would call the house that I grew up in the house at 1805 North 11th Street, which is behind the movie theater on the north side of Blue Springs. But before I go into that one, I'll say we had a smaller house, entry level house in the south side of Blue Springs, 2220 South Second Street Terrace. And I don't remember a ton about that house, but I'm going to tell you what I remember. I remember, right? So if you're looking at the house, on the left side, we had two-car garage. Above that, we had this little, I don't know what you'd even call it, a deck, but it was like a no, like a design element, right? It was a deck that you could go up there and walk on, but I don't think I ever walked on it because I don't think it was safe, and I think I was scared to death. Mom and Dad kind of scared me that like you can't go up there, and I never did. And I was third grade when we moved away from there, so I would have been 4 or 5, I guess, probably four, maybe when we moved to that house and left when we were third grade, whatever that is. I don't know, 8, 9, something like that. So lived there for a little bit. But yeah, car garage, go up a few stairs to the front door, and then split level, right? Go downstairs to the garage to the left or to the basement to the right. The basement was unfinished. It was kind of dark and dingy as far as I know. I don't really think I was scared of it, but I didn't really go down there. You went up the stairs, and to the right was living room, kitchen, with a window AC unit. I do remember getting my face in front of that in the summers when it was so hot. We'd come inside and get in front of that. Went out to a deck and then down the stairs down to the yard, which Dad put in a railroad tie patio. I don't remember that ever being a good idea. I can't imagine it was. I mean, railroad ties just don't make, as it's come full circle, right? And we build patios. I don't think that's a very good material to use to make a patio. I can't imagine a chair fits on it or anything. So anyway, small little yard and back, fenced in, and but if you came up the stairs from the garage or from the front door and went left, right, bathroom, probably 3 bedrooms. Back left was mom and dad's bedroom, and I remember being in there because that was where they had a color TV that we could easily hook up the Atari. And I'm pretty sure I don't think Josh ever used the Atari because I don't think he was ever old enough to really. So I think I just remember playing the Atari. Um, so that was that house, and it was fine. Had some good friends around there. But the main question, can you describe the house you grew up in? So I would call that other house behind the movie theater. So that house was a little bit bigger, right? So you drove around back to get in the garage, right? So which having that reverse, you where the garages are, where you go around, was certainly nice because it made for a big driveway in the back. And so Dad put in a basketball goal, and it was awesome for playing basketball, right? I got to do this to my camera because it's being weird. But so it made for great basketball. So we could shoot 3 pointers, and there's 3 cars wide, and then 2 cars deep. So yeah, it was probably 30 by 30. So it's fabulous. And luckily, Dad was smart enough to put lights out back. I don't know if the home builder just thought that was a good idea or why that happened, but so we could play basketball. We played basketball till 10 o'clock at night, just until Dad said you had to come in because the neighbors, the Brunings next door, who never said anything ever, super nice people, but we just came in because that was time to come in. And then, but the house itself, right? You walked in, a little entryway, stairs that went up to mom and dad's room up top, and then there was like a loft area, and then there was at one point it was an empty room. It was freezing cold in the winter and hot in summer because we would keep the door closed. But then dad, along with Uncle Rick and Uncle Keith came over, and lots of people came over. Mark Rains came over one time to help build Katie's room when and that was necessary when mom got pregnant with Katie. So because downstairs we had two bedrooms, so it would have been a 3 bedroom house, and we made it into a four. So, um, but that was the upstairs. So if you just went in straight, you walked into the living room through this little entryway, go into the living room, or you could go left was the dining room immediately, or and then on into the kitchen and laundry room. The laundry room was back behind the kitchen, like heading out to the deck. And then our rooms, Josh and I's rooms, were down the right of the house, and so we each had our own room. Josh like never slept in his room until we got really old. I don't know. He just liked coming in and sleeping. I had a queen size bed, and I didn't really care. I had plenty of room. We were little kids, and so he would sleep in there. He didn't hardly sleep in his room. I don't. Yeah, I don't remember when that stopped, but I felt like it was pretty old. And then we had the basement. Basement just had the garage that was around there, and then we had the basement area that was unfinished. But it was great because we would play down there all the time. It was rainy or cold. We made a four square thing out of tape on the floor. We had basketball goal, like a little, not Nerf, but something in between a little Nerf one and a real one. And then, it had a strike zone taped on the wall, so I would throw pitches and throw passes, and yeah, it was great. I mean, that house was perfect. Big backyard. We didn't have any houses behind us at that point. I mean, later on, tons of houses behind us, but when I lived there and Josh lived there, there wasn't anybody. It was just Burr Oaks Nature Center that was, I don't know, after the next, I don't know, 10 or 15 miles, just woods. And so we would go back and walk in the woods and get in the creek. And yeah, you'd get in trouble, just build forts and do awesome stuff. It was great. Um, what else? So Josh and I shared a bathroom on that main floor, and it was the hall bath. So we did that. He had a door to that room that I think was opened like 3 times. It was straight into the bathroom, but we kind of just put furniture in front of it, and nobody ever really used it. It's kind of funny. Um, my room was on the front of the house. So it had kind of 4 windows. I guess you call them two, but each one had a swing out. So there were kind of 4 windows facing the front. And then when Kit came along, I got stuck with him in my room. So I always had a brother in my room. It felt like, geez, now that I think about it, never had my own room. So Kit stayed in there. I mean, especially once Katie was around. And so I don't even know how that happened. Actually, now that I think about it, where did Kit sleep? I mean, he'd have been 6. I don't I don't know where Kit slept in that house as a kid. He was in my room when he was in his crib, but when does a kid stop using a crib? Maybe 2, 3, something like that. I can't even remember. Golly, it's been so long. But I don't know where I don't know where Kit slept because Josh ended up moving. Dad built another bedroom. Man, wonder when that happened. Dad built another bedroom. Me, Dad, and Uncle Rick. Mostly Dad and Uncle Rick, of course. But I felt like Dad maybe coming down there all the time. Built a room downstairs. They were going to build a bathroom. I don't think they ever did. It was plumbed in for it, and I think we studded for it, but built the walls, but I think that's where it stopped. So Josh lived down there, but I think that was when I don't actually know. I think that was when I was already gone, cause but I don't know. Maybe it wasn't. Cause Kit would have something. Katie was up in her own room upstairs, the first room that Dad built. So we had a three-bedroom house, and at the end it was five. Because Dad finished the one off. That one was already, part of the house. It was framed in. Um, but the other one was just downstairs, and we had to do everything to get it and to make it. But yeah, weird. I don't know where Kit lived. I assume, I mean, my thinking of what makes sense, but I don't know if it's true, is that when Kit got older, they built that room down there so Josh could move down there. And then Kit could move into that bedroom, and I was in mine. But I don't actually remember ever living with Kit or Katie besides, I don't ever remember living with Katie. I have zero memory, but I would have been like 14, right? And just driving a little bit later and like gone. And I was doing umpiring before that. And so before I was even 16, and my partner Eric was a year older, almost a full year, so he would come pick me up. So I was just gone. But I don't remember Kit ever being in the house either, besides when he was an infant and in the crib. So if it wasn't in my room, I don't remember anything. It's kind of horrible. But I don't remember living with either one of them. I remember that house that I grew up in living with Josh and mom and dad. That's it. That's the only thing I remember. I don't remember Kit and Katie ever being there as like humans that could walk. I only remember them. I don't even really remember Kit. Well, I do remember Kit getting hit by the car being there, but I don't know how old he was, but I don't remember where he lived. That's so funny. What you don't remember. I was just gone, right? I had a job. I was umpiring a ton. And then I had a girlfriend a ton. And then I hung out with my friends. And so I don't think I was at the house that much. And I don't think mom and dad and anybody ever missed me because they had two little kids that were like, you know, 3 and 1 or 4 and 1 or something. And Josh was a hellion. So they probably were like, oh my God, I don't even know where Benji is or what's going on. But he's the simple one. He's the non-risky one. He didn't get hurt or in trouble hardly, so he'll be fine. But yeah, that's so funny that I don't remember some of that. But that was the house. We had a deck out back too that was nice. Again, once I left, they redid it and like put a hot tub on it. Again, we can go back to the mom and dad had no money when Josh and I were young, and they had lots of money when Kit and Katie came along. But yeah, so they had the nice um, brand new deck with it was bigger and better and had a hot tub, and yeah, it was fun. We had an old rickety one that we dug out. I don't even know how we dug that out. We dug that out so we could park a car underneath there. That was a bad idea, Dad. Now that I think about it, like we didn't do anything to shore up those sides. We just dug it out and pulled the Datsun 210 in there. Crazy. We need to think about that kind of stuff around Dad and Josh and see if we can figure out what that whole timeline is. I'm gonna do that. So this is great, great question because I don't remember living with my family. It's funny. Okay, well that's that's my answer to that question. That was the house. It was a great house. I love living there. It was the happiest time of my life. But I don't remember living with Kit and Katie. But besides that, it was great. Um, yeah, like zero memories. That's so funny. I'm sure I'm gonna have to make another video about this once I remember and then come back and say, like, hey, I do remember them being around, but I really don't remember them being around. Sorry, guys.